And once it starts, there we go. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Flashcard Factory is a great way to review vocabulary with your students, and it helps in retention because the students get to create the flashcards. They'll be drawing pictures and writing example sentences for your vocabulary list. And once they've done that, the class comes back together and looks at those flashcards and chooses the best ones to then use for review. And you can choose to review those in a few different ways. You can choose to print out a final set if you're in the classroom. You can export it to a PDF and put it into some slides for students to review on their own, on their Chromebooks. Or the best way is to export it to Gimkit, which is like a gamified way of reviewing. If your students are really into Kahoot or quizzes, they're going to like Gimkit too. So that's what we're going to do today. Is you're going to get kind of the student experience of what Flashcard Factory is like from the student end. And if you're watching from home, these slides should all be on the Tech Tank page of our Digital Learning Resources website. So you'll have the slides and the video. All right, so like I said, the slides are really just for looking back on after the session. I've included some motivational quotes of why vocabulary instruction is important, but mostly these slides have screenshots showing you where to go, what to click on, and I'm going to show you those live right now. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to present my entire screen now. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to peardeck.com and log in, show you how we go to start a Flashcard Factory session. And you can follow along if you'd like to see where to go. So I'm just at peardeck.com and I'm going to click Teacher Login. And you might get prompted to log in with Google. I'm already logged in another tab, so it knows who I am. And right here in this green box is where you go to create your list for a Flashcard Factory session. And there's a lot of different ways you can create a list. You can import a list, this button up here. I'm going to click Import. It allows you to just copy and paste from a document. I've got a document ready to go here. We're going to be playing Flashcard Factory with some vocabulary words for teachers. In fact, let me grab this and put it in the chat. I found this interesting article about 21 vocabulary words that only teachers understand. So these are some kind of made up vocabulary words, but I thought they'd be fun for us to use today. One of the words is glitcident, when you have the best intentions of using glitter in the classroom, but then an accident occurs, making you deeply regret your choice. So just some funny words for teachers. I'm just going to take this list. One thing I want you to notice is the way that I formatted the list. I made it just right for this Flashcard Factory import. It tells you that each line creates another card. Tabs separate terms and definitions. So when I typed up my list, I put a tab between the term and the definition, and I left one line of space between each term. That way, those will be divided into cards. So now I can just copy my list and paste it right in here. You could do that with a spreadsheet column as well. There's a few different ways, and it gives you a list preview. This is showing how it's going to show up, which is perfect. It separated the terms and definitions for me. So once you say it looks good, you can just say import list. And now I've got my whole list of 7 words here. I can do a few other things. I can sort those words by ABC order. I can move them around. Next to each term number, there's 6 dots that where you can grab and kind of drag the terms around if you want a specific order to them. And you can also build your vocabulary set right here in Pear Deck. So if I click add another term, let's say we're studying population. Oops. I can just type my term in, population. And then down here where it says definitions, I can use the built-in lookup function. It works with the Merriam-Webster dictionary to give some possible terms to say, oh, the whole number of people or inhabitants in a country or region. That matches my definition, so I'll just choose that one. So it kind of helps you find definitions right in there. I don't have to open another tab and do a Google search. I'm going to delete that term. So you can also just add and delete terms as you go. And then give it a title. That's going to help you find it later on. If you don't finish your session and you come back to it later in Pear Deck, you want to make sure to give it a title that will help you find it. Or if I want to reuse this list again. So I'm going to call this one Vocabulary for Teachers. And that's the basics to creating your list. You can also use this 3-line menu in the top left corner to find a vocabulary list. They have some lists already pre-built on Pear Deck by grade level. So if you just want a quick way to get started using this tool with your students, that might be a way to go. But it's always good to make sure for the first time you choose words that your students are really familiar with, because they're going to be asked to do some pretty high-level things here, like drawing a picture to represent the word. With a word like population, that could be really challenging. You want to make sure it's words your students are familiar with, and then as they play more, you can give them more challenging words. So we'll go ahead and move into the next phase. We're going to play Flashcard Factory. So once I've got my set of terms built, click play up here in the top right corner. And now for this step here, it's a little bit different depending on where you're playing. I know right now I can see this on the projector. Are you guys seeing the window that says step 1 of 3? Thanks. So just want to make sure with your students that they're seeing that. And you can click OK. Now, if I was in the classroom, I would have my students go right ahead and visit joinpd.com and enter this code. But I want you all to hold off a moment if you haven't done it yet. When you're doing Flashcard Factory in a remote setting, you want to go ahead and skip this step and click clock in. When you click clock in, it automatically puts your students into partners for the activity, but we're going to want to work independently since we're not in the classroom together. So that's a little trick, and it's included in the slide deck for you to look back at. But I'm going to go ahead and click clock in since we're remote. And I'm going to click Let's Play. Rather than waiting for it to shuffle you into the day shift and the night shift, I'm going to go ahead to Let's Play. If I was in the classroom, right, I'd let my students log in first. Maybe I'd shuffle the teams and make sure they were the way I wanted them, and then I'd click Let's Play. So this is the first phase of Flashcard Factory. It's called the production phase, and you can click on the 3 dots in the bottom left corner to see what phase you're on. It's kind of grayed out the production phase, and I can switch to any other phase anytime during the game by coming to these 3 dots. Before I give you the join code and have you start working on cards, I just want to show you the tools that you're going to be using. I would do this with students as well. So I've already opened a session in another tab, and this is what you'll see when you log in. It will tell you that you're a part of a shift, and it'll say work with your group too, but you'll be working independently, so you can ignore that. You'll see your vocabulary word in this white box here. Mine is population, and it gives the definition, the number of individuals of a species living in a place at a given time. So it's my job to draw. I might also have the job of writing an example sentence, but here I know I've got to draw an example. So here's my workspace. You can change the color of your pen. You can choose either to if you have this paintbrush selected, you can free draw. You can change the color or size of that. Then you've got your eraser. You have a line tool. just click and drag to make a straight line, or you can enter text. Just by entering it down below and then clicking onto the workspace for that text to get brought up. You've got your undo and redo buttons down here, as well as clear. And remember, when you're done drawing, to hit the I'm done drawing button. Once you're done, you will not be able to continue editing. So make sure that you've got your drawing totally finished and dialed in before you click I'm done drawing. All right, so those are the tools that you'll be using. And here is your join code. So you are going to want to go to joinpd.com. I'll just pop that in the chat. It's not a link, but that's the address you'll be going to. And then you'll use the join code KUUUYT. It's kind of small on my screen, so I'll put that in the chat as well. So give me a thumbs up or type a yes in the chat when you are in the production phase and working on your cards. Awesome. I see Janine and Jeanette are in. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to work. I'll put on this 3-minute timer. And I always want to make sure my students know how much time they have. We will be moving on to quality control in 3 minutes, so you want to get it done before then or it won't be included in the set. Okay, 30 more seconds. Remember, you're going to want to submit before the timer runs out. So we'll see your work in the quality control phase. All right. I'm going to switch back to sharing my whole screen. And I just searched YouTube for a 3-minute timer. And it had one that came with music, so it's a nice way to give students some quiet time to work, but not totally silent. So now we're going to move into the quality control phase. I just saw a couple of those flashcards drop onto the conveyor belt. And I just click here on the 3 dots to change into the quality control phase. It looks like I've got examples for 2 out of 7 terms. Just make sure you've clicked submit on that screen, that I'm done drawing button. If you haven't yet, maybe we have a couple more terms sitting out there. There's one. All right, awesome. You can see it drop down onto the conveyor belt there. So I'm going to go ahead to the quality control phase next. Oh, ship it. Janie, was that another step that you saw on your end?
Yeah, I said I was done drawing and writing, and then I had to ship it.
Oh, thank you.
That's when it came to you.
I'm sorry. I should have given you a little bit more of a warning that you needed to write your example sentence as well before shipping it. When students are working in pairs, one of them gets the drawing job, the other gets the writing job, and so it takes half the time. But when we're working independently, I forgot to mention you'd have to do both. So I'm sorry if I didn't give you enough time to finish. I'm going to go ahead and move on, though, to quality control. So this is where, as a class, we can review the flashcards and decide on which ones we want to approve. I'll just get the input from the class before clicking the check mark, or deny, clicking the red X. And if we don't choose any of the drawings or examples for a specific term, the term still gets included in the final set. It'll just be the term and definition that I input in the vocabulary list. All right, so here we have excusitis, an excellent drawing. My excusitis seems to flare up when I check homework every day. And as the teacher, I can hover over, mouse over the cards down on the conveyor belt, and it will show me who the artist and writer is. And since I'm sharing my whole screen right now, you should all be able to see that information too. Janie, are you seeing that down there? Your name as the artist and writer. I know it's kind of tiny, which is good because it's supposed to keep you guys anonymous for your classmates. In the classroom, I would share this by sharing just one tab or a window. And if I do, then those little pop-ups won't show. So I'd be able to mouse over and see that Janie drew this, but nobody else would be able to see that. So it kind of helps students be able to draw something even if they're not great artists, right? So I'd ask for the input from the class. This is when you can say, type in the chat, Y for yes, N for no. Should I approve this drawing and example? So you can get the input from your students quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and just approve all of these so that we can move on and play the next phase of the game. So again, you would review with your students and get their input on these. I'm going to go ahead and approve them all. So we made a 3-card set. And here are the options now. We can print or export to Gimkit Live. Like I said, you can print out the set on paper, or you can print it to a PDF, get some screenshots of the student work and put those into a Google slide deck for students to review. But Gimkit Live is what makes this Flashcard Factory so much fun. So here I'm going to export to Gimkit Live. I need to give my flashcard set a name. And then I'm going to click Export to Gimkit Live. So I get a link now to log into Gimkit. And this really is only for doing in a synchronous session live with your students. The sets that import from Pear can only really be used in the Pear Gimkit library. And if you want students to do this asynchronously, or you want to collect data, get some records back from their performance, then you really need to use your own Gimkit account. So the way that this integration works best is if you just play it for fun, live games with your students. So we won't be sharing it to Google Classroom. We're just going to grab the link here and play live. So it shows me all my terms. I need to log in before I will see the option to play. So I'm just going to go up here to the top right and click Login, continue with Google. And now I see this play button over here on the left. So this is a great way to incentivize students to be on time. You can say, we're going to be playing our Gimkit flashcards right at 9 a.m. when class starts, and students will want to be there. So once I clicked play, I have some different gameplay options here, and these are pretty cool. I'll just go over a few interesting ones. Occasionally they have this Trust No One, which is modeled after the game Among Us, which is super popular. There's Humans versus Zombies, where two teams compete against each other. In Infinity Mode, the first player to collect all stones has the power to eliminate half the class. That can be really motivating. The floor is lava. I really like this one because rather than buying power-ups, students can use their money that they earn to build up the floor, which kind of helps everyone survive. So that's a good way to build your team, build your class community. And finally, boss battle. It's one player versus the rest. So that can be great for teacher versus student, or if you have one student who wants to take on the rest of the class, that could be a challenge. So we're just going to play classic mode today. And there's a bunch more settings. You can turn on and off as you need. I want to point out clean power-ups only. If your students aren't really into those power-ups or hurting each other during the game, you can turn on just clean power-ups only. And so I'm just going to have us play a 3-minute game where we try to earn as much money as we can before the time runs out, since we only have 6 minutes left today. So here are your joining instructions. You're going to go to gimkit.com/live. And you can go ahead and do that now on another device or in another tab. I'm going to do that in another tab. And before I do, I'll say your join code is 67680. And I can see on my teacher screen that I've already got 2 players. You can take a look on my teacher screen to see what that looks like. You want to wait till most players have joined before you start the game. Players do get to put in their own names, so it is on the honor system. I have tried to put in some inappropriate names before, and it automatically changes it to a silly name. So there is a little bit of a safety feature there, but that would be a lesson to have with your students. You'll notice on your student screen, it tells you some instructions how to get ready. You're going to answer questions to earn cash. At the bottom of that box, you'll see there's a click tap here to draw. So you can draw while you're waiting for the game to start. You can check out that feature. I think your students would like that while they're waiting for others. And we'll go ahead and start the game. There is one thing I wanted to show you before you play, and that is here on my slides. On slide 14, there's some important information. On your screen, after each flashcard, you can choose to continue on to the next one or shop. If you choose shop, you'll see these options. You might have these 4 upgrades, the money per question, streak bonus, and then you can also access power-ups down at the bottom of your screen. So if you don't see the power-ups, they're in that bottom bar. All right. We're going to play for a few minutes. The game has started. And since there's only 3 terms, you'll probably cycle through them quickly. As the teacher, I can turn on and off music in the game. And you'll notice you're earning some money. Students do need to, or players need to earn a few right questions worth before you can really buy anything. Some of the power-ups will motivate students to earn a lot of money before shopping. So if they click shop after each flashcard, pretty soon they'll realize that there's not much they can do there until they answer a lot of questions, earn some money. After you've had a chance to play a few flashcards, pop over to my projected screen again. So I want to show you a couple things that the teacher can do during a game. On the left side of my screen, I have all my players, and I can click on any player to see how they're doing. So if I click on Miranda, down at the bottom here, it shows me that Miranda has $15. So I might look through all my students. Oh, Veronica has $55. So maybe I want to help other players. Veronica's really taken the lead here. So there's a couple things I can do. I can remove a player from the game. I don't want to do that. I can increase or decrease their balance, or I can ice them. I don't know, Veronica might need to get iced. So that's something I can do. I'll show you, Veronica, what that looks like. I'm going to ice you right now. So it says the teacher iced Veronica. So I think it kind of freezes your screen for a little while, giving other players an opportunity to catch up. Or I could go to Miranda, who hasn't earned very much, and I could increase her balance by 10%. Right. So those are some of the ways that I can game the system and just check in how my students are doing, make sure everybody's getting a chance to compete. And then there's also the whole class total. And so that's another way that you could play with your class as well. Today we reached a total of $147. We're going to play again on Friday and see if we can beat that total. Congratulations, Veronica, our winner with $78. And so anytime you wanted to come back and replay the game, you would just come back to your Flashcard Factory set. And let me show you how you can access that. Just at peardeck.com, all of the sessions that you ever host, whether those are regular Pear Deck sessions or Flashcard Factory sessions, they all live in this Sessions tab. And when I click there, it's showing me all the sessions I've ever hosted. And under type, it tells me if they were slides or vocab. So here was a Valentine's vocabulary session I did, and I can just click on that title to reopen it and head back to any of the phases I want. I can return to the production phase, quality control, or go straight to Gimkit Live. So I hope that this makes vocabulary instruction a little more exciting for your class. I have a little bit of time to take any questions that you have. Thanks for joining us today, Veronica and Veronica.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Please let me know if there's any questions I can answer for you right now. And if not, remember that we're always available for further support if you'd like it.
Alrighty, thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
You too.